Melinda Gates just said 3 words that tell you everything about what 27 years with Bill Gates actually cost her. Very, very happy. That is what she told People magazine about the new man in her life. Not cautiously optimistic, not taking it slow. Very, very happy. 3 varies from a woman who spent decades choosing every word with surgical precision. But here is what nobody is asking. Why did it take leaving a $100 billion marriage to feel that way? And why did she find this happiness with a craft beer entrepreneur who once walked the same Microsoft hallways where her nightmare began? Because this is not a story about a woman finding love again at 61. This is a story about what Melinda Gates had to survive to get there.
It's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
The Epstein meetings Bill kept taking after she begged him to stop. The affair with a Microsoft employee that lasted longer than some marriages. The panic attacks so severe she did not know if she would survive them. And the part that will change how you see every photo of them together. She knew. She knew something was wrong long before the world caught up. She just could not prove it yet. In 1987, Melinda French was a rising star at Microsoft. She had 2 degrees from Duke, a sharp mind, and a reputation for getting things done. Bill Gates was already the richest man in the room, but Melinda was not impressed. When Bill asked her out at a company picnic, she told him she was too busy. He called back 2 weeks later with a more detailed plan. That persistence would define their relationship. Bill pursued her the way he pursued everything. With relentless focus, Melinda was not a conquest. She was a partner he could not stop thinking about. They got engaged in 1993, and Bill being Bill, he made a pros and cons list about marriage before he proposed. Melinda said yes anyway. Their wedding in Hawaii was small and private. Bill rented every helicopter on the island just so photographers could not fly over. That is how protective he was. That is how much he wanted this marriage to work. But wanting something to work and knowing how to keep it are 2 different things. And the cracks in this marriage did not start with Jeffrey Epstein or the Microsoft affair. They started with something much smaller, something Melinda noticed early but convinced herself she was imagining. For the next decade, it looked like the perfect partnership. Melinda left her career to raise their 3 children, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe. But she did not disappear. She became the driving force behind the Gates Foundation, the largest private charitable organization in the world. She was the one who insisted they focus on global health. She was the one who pushed for vaccine distribution in developing countries. Bill had the money. Melinda had the vision. They gave TED Talks together. They appeared on magazine covers together. They were the gold standard of philanthropic power couples. At their peak, the Gates Foundation had an endowment of over $50 billion. They were changing the world, and they were doing it side by side. But somewhere, something shifted. In 2013, Melinda finally had proof of what she had sensed for years.
That Bill contracted an STD from Russian girls and asked for Epstein's help, providing him with antibiotics he could give Melinda without her knowing.
I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage.
Bill was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein. Not once, not twice. At least 6 separate meetings over the course of 2 years. Melinda warned Bill directly. She told him Epstein was dangerous. She told him these meetings would destroy everything they had built. Bill kept going anyway. In a CBS interview years later, Melinda described those meetings in terms that still make you stop: evil personified. That is what she called Epstein. She said she had nightmares about him. She said the meetings haunted her. And Bill, the man who made pros and cons lists about marriage, apparently made no list at all when it came to meeting a convicted sex offender. And it did not stop there. In 2019, the New York Times reported that Bill had had an affair with a Microsoft employee. The relationship started in 2000. That is the same year their 3rd child was born. For 20 years, Melinda had no idea. She found out when the rest of the world did. Think about what that means for a second. She spent 2 decades building an empire with this man, raising his children, amplifying his legacy, believing they were partners in everything. And the whole time, there was a secret she never knew about. When the divorce was announced in May 2021, the statement was clinical. After a great deal of thought and a lot of work on our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. Corporate language for something far more painful. Melinda later admitted she cried herself raw. She described lying on the carpet in her room, unable to move. She had panic attacks so severe, she did not know if she would survive them. The divorce settlement made headlines for all the obvious reasons. Melinda received an estimated $2.4 billion in stock transfers on day one. But here is what the headlines missed. She also walked away from the Gates Foundation. In June 2024, Melinda officially resigned from the organization she had helped build for 25 years. She left behind the Gates name on the door. She left behind the joint legacy. She left behind everything that tied her to Bill. The headlines called it a loss. Melinda saw it as a beginning, because here is what happened next. Melinda did not shrink. She expanded. She launched Pivotal Ventures, her own philanthropic investment company focused on women and families. She committed $1 billion to Gender Equality Initiative. $1 billion, with a B. This was not a woman retreating into bitterness. This was a woman rebuilding her identity from the ground up. And then, in the fall of 2025, something unexpected happened. Melinda showed up to the Clooney Foundation for Justice Awards in New York City. On her arm was a man nobody recognized. His name was Philip Vaughn, and he was the opposite of everything Bill Gates represented. Philip Vaughn is 48 years old. He is 13 years younger than Melinda. He is the founder and CEO of Tavour, a craft beer delivery company based in Seattle. The company connects small breweries with customers who want something more interesting than what they can find at the grocery store. It is the kind of business that requires passion, not just profit margins. And here is the detail that makes the whole story feel like a movie. Philip Vaughn worked at Microsoft from 1999 to 2008, 9 years at the same company where Melinda French once walked the halls. The same company where she met the man who would become her husband. The same company she left to build a family with Bill Gates. Melinda met Bill at Microsoft. She fell in love at Microsoft. She built a life around a man she met at Microsoft. And 3 years after that life ended, she found her happiness with another man who once worked at Microsoft. Same company, same campus, same hallways. Completely different ending. Philip Vaughn is not a billionaire. He is not a tech titan giving TED Talks about the future of computing. He does not have dinner meetings with world leaders or a foundation with his name on the door. He runs a craft beer business that delivers small batch brews to people who care about that sort of thing. He has no Epstein meetings on his record. He has no affairs hidden in his past. He is, by all accounts, exactly what Melinda said she was looking for. In an interview with Stephen Colbert, Melinda described the qualities she wanted in a partner. Open to learning, vibrant, smart, challenging. She said she wanted someone who would push her to grow. Someone who was curious about the world, someone who did not need her to be anything other than herself. She was not looking for another empire builder. She was looking for someone who would see her, really see her. Not the foundation, not the money, not the Gates name, her. Since October 2025, Melinda and Philip have been photographed together constantly. Red carpets at the Clooney Foundation Awards, Broadway shows in Manhattan, helicopter rides into the city for dinner, weekend getaways that end up on Instagram. She is not hiding him. She is not downplaying it. She is not treating this like something to be managed or explained. She is walking into rooms with this man and letting the cameras capture exactly how happy she looks. And here is what nobody expected. She looks lighter. Anyone who watched her interviews during the marriage can see the difference now. The tension around her eyes is gone. The careful calculation in her words has softened. She laughs more easily. She speaks more freely. She looks like a woman who finally exhaled after holding her breath for years. Compare that to the woman who stood next to Bill for 27 years. The woman who smiled through interviews while worrying about Epstein in the background. The woman who did not know about the affair. The woman who cried on the carpet and wondered if she would ever feel whole again. That woman is gone. The Melinda you see now moves differently. She wrote a memoir called The Next Day, Not My Marriage, Not My Regrets. The Next Day. Because for Melinda, the most important part of her story was not the 27 years she spent with Bill, it was what came after. And here is the contrast that makes all of this hit differently. Bill Gates is also dating someone new. Her name is Paula Hurd. She is the widow of former Oracle CEO Mark Hurd, who passed away in 2019. Paula moves in the same tech circles Bill has always moved in. Same galas, same conferences, same charity boards, same conversations about software and philanthropy and the future of technology. Bill found someone from his world, someone who already understood the rhythms of that life. When asked about his biggest regret in recent interviews, Bill has said publicly that losing Melinda is the thing he wishes he could undo. He has called it the mistake that keeps him up at night. He has admitted that he is the one who caused the problems. That is a lot of accountability for a man who spent his career being right about almost everything. But regret only moves in one direction. Bill is looking backward, trying to understand what went wrong. Melinda is looking forward, building something entirely new. He is stuck in analysis mode. She is already on the next chapter. He got the tech widow. She got the craft beer guy. He is still running the foundation with his name on it. She left to start her own, where she answers to no one. He talks about what he lost. She talks about what she found. He shows up at the same events he always attended. She shows up at Broadway shows, holding hands with someone new. And you know what Melinda has never done? She has never badmouthed Bill publicly. She has never named the Microsoft employee. She has never described the arguments or the pain in graphic detail. When asked hard questions, she answers with grace and redirects to the work she is doing now. She did not need to destroy him. She just needed to leave. At 61 years old, 3 years after the most public divorce of the decade, Melinda Gates found what she was looking for. In a craft beer entrepreneur who once walked the same hallways she did, back when everything was just beginning. She did not write a memoir called My Regrets, she wrote one called The Next Day. Because for Melinda, the best day was not any of those 27 years. It was the day after she left, and every day since. And somewhere in Seattle, Bill Gates is still trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Meanwhile, Melinda is at a Broadway show with a man who delivers craft beer for a living. I think she is doing just fine. If you want to see the video that started it all, the one about what really happened with Bill and the meetings that ended this marriage, that card is right there. I will see you in that one.